It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you want to make some serious money, you're going to need multiple sources of income. In March of 2020, COVID hit the world hard. Everyone was affected by it, and still is, and still will be for years to come. My industry, music and entertainment, could be argued to have gotten hit the hardest. Who knows when and how we'll bounce back from it? Who knows what'll be left from the ashes of it all? It's really bad for the artistic community and everyone we work with, from crews to producers to tour bus drivers, venue owners, and so on. So I think this is a pretty good time to talk about alternative forms of income. See, one of the main things I learned from talking to music pros over the years is that you've got to think long term here. Things usually don't last forever, and you have to be aware of that and plan for it accordingly. Now, real quick side note, if you've watched my Law of Attraction video and possibly gotten into it, you know that focusing on what you don't want is not really cool. You want to put all your focus and energy into what you do want. All I'm saying is be aware of the pitfalls and drawbacks. Be aware, plan for the worst case scenario, and then forget about it and focus on the great things you want in life. Now back to it. Unless you're the greatest of all time, like Eddie Van Halen, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, or any of those amazing trailblazers of their time and our time, you probably want to have multiple forms of income. In fact, they should have all had them as well. If you're a studio musician, what do you do when software comes out and replaces you for 80% of your studio work? I mean, 80% of your work gone. If you're a touring musician and your industry gets hit by, say, a global pandemic debilitating the industry for a year or two, like that would ever happen, what do you do then? What about if you own an audio and lighting company and tours are slow as hell for the winter? What do all those situations have in common? Planning ahead could make or break these people and these companies. Yes, life will take you by surprise time and time again, but at least you can try and plan for it. Now let's break it down to two main forms of income, active income and passive income. As you might assume from the names, one is more active and one is more passive. Active income means you're physically doing something to earn that money. It's income received from performing or providing a service. If you don't actively do it that week, you don't earn the money that week. For example, playing shows. If I'm a touring musician and my arrangement is that I get paid per show, if I don't do any shows, I don't get paid. If I'm a music producer and I get paid solely from producing and recording artists, but I have no artist recording this month, well, the money won't be coming in from there. You feel me? Now let's look at passive income examples, also known as mailbox money, because you just keep getting money without doing much or any work. So for example, real estate investments, where you might buy a property and rent it out, other than the maintenance here and there, which you may not even deal with if you have a management company in place, you just get money every month. Buy 10 of those and you're getting some serious cash every first of the month, right? Or as another example, you've seen me do it a lot, music for TV and film, right? Where it shows up later as royalties income. Once I make a track and put it out there into the world, it gets a life of its own and it travels through different music libraries, shows, movies, commercials, and games, and just brings in money without me doing much more on my end. I'm a big believer in diversifying income though, so to put it simply, have many different eggs in many different baskets. Have some active projects going on, like in my case working as a touring musician, as a producer for artists, as a producer for library music, as well as projects that have nothing to do with the music business, like YouTube videos. And then also have some passive projects. In my case, that's money I have in the stock market in the form of savings accounts and retirement accounts. I also have some real estate investments, as well as royalty money coming in every month from different sources. In general, when I have money laying around, I try to figure out where to put it to get the best growth and return on that investment. If it's just laying around, it's technically safe, but it's also losing its value due to inflation. Inflation, by the way, is simply put the increase in the prices of goods and services. But let me give you an idea of what that looks like in real life. If I have a $100 bill in my hand and I hold on to it for say 10, 20 years, it won't be worth $100 anymore. The same bill will be worth maybe $80. Why? Because things get more expensive every year. Or another way to look at it is this. If a full tank of gas costs me $50 today, In 10, 20 years, that same $50 bill will only buy me half a tank of gas, because a full tank of gas is going to be $100. So you want to make sure your money is growing instead of laying around doing nothing and losing its value. A great book I'd recommend to start with, if you haven't yet, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was very inspiring to me back in the day, and I read it again every few years because it's just that good. Oh, also, another strategy is saving money on taxes or spending your earnings in a smart way. Definitely talk to your CPA about this before making any moves, because each case is different. But I can tell you that in my case, having an S-Corp has saved me money over time, 100%. I pay my taxes, a lot of taxes, but I also use the laws that apply to get gear and spend my money on businesses in different ways that cut my taxes down. So for example, with completely made up numbers by the way, instead of paying $50,000 in taxes some year, I might choose to spend an extra $40,000 on my business and thereby lowering my taxes drastically. It's just being smart about your money, your investments, and your savings. Again, talk to your tax person. This is very specific to each business and individual. Oh, also, let's not forget the more traditional investments for the future, 401ks and IRAs. Any kind of retirement account where your money grows over the years with compounding interest. That means the money you put in directly is making interest, but also that interest is making more interest, therefore compounding interest. So these days, or when we get back to touring one day, I can be on tour on a day off, just chilling with my friends, get my salary or my day rate, and simultaneously also be making money from my rental units as well as compounding interest on my investments in the market. And my song that I wrote 8 years ago just got placed in a commercial and is bringing in 10 grand and then still paying more money on the back end through BMI and ASCAP. Now that's a good day. So to sum it up, here are a few recommendations. Don't worry, I'll leave all the links below. Like I mentioned earlier, if you haven't read it yet, check out Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or any other book about financial freedom. Podcasts. Check out the Dave Ramsey podcast as well as So Money. I've enjoyed both many times, but my advice is don't listen to everything they say. Just get the vibe and pick what works for you. Real estate investing. My favorite podcast and community in general for real estate investing is Bigger Pockets. They've got so much great info about getting into real estate investing without much money. There are so many ways to do it. Go check it out. Taxes. Talk to your CPA, figure out the best way for you to structure your businesses and taxes so you get the most out of it. Investing in the market. This can be a tough one unless you have some inside scoops or really believe in some company. The safe way to do this is to use mutual funds or something in that style. I say safe like that because when you invest money in anything, you have to take into account the risk and reward. You have to take into account that you could lose all of it. Again, talk to your CPA or financial advisor, which I am neither of, so don't take my advice. Do your own research. Comment, like, sub. I'll catch you next time.